That's the most bizarre thing.
So it's working, but it's just flashing red?
Oh, no, it's not working.
It's not working?
No.
Hello, we have a slight issue. The expansion pack has a fault.
Oh, right.
And it's blown up the power wall.
No.
Honestly?
Yeah. But it's... yeah, knackered it. This property earns over £3,700 a year from its solar system, and it only needs to buy about £330 of energy to make that happen. And today we're upgrading it again. We are doubling the battery storage here because the way solar works in the UK is rapidly changing, and this customer is moving away from gas. In this video, we're going to cover three things. How does this house earn over £3,500 a year from solar? We're going to look at why adding batteries and a heat pump can transform a system like this. And by the end of this video, you'll see a home that has had a full electrification journey. They start with solar, move to battery, and end with that electrified heating system right here in the UK. The way that people buy solar now is very different to how it was like 10 years ago. So today, systems are designed for maximum self-consumption. We want to reduce your reliance on the grid. But back then, government incentives made all of that irrelevant. This home installed solar during the feed-in tariff era. Now, back then, homeowners were paid simply for generating electricity on a deemed basis. Those payments were locked in for 25 years. They were index linked. Essentially, what this means is they compound every year with inflation. And today, about 12 years in, this system earns about £3,500 a year from that feed-in tariff income. So the house already produces more value than it spends on electricity. But back in 2024, that changed. We installed this Tesla Powerwall 3 alongside the system to supercharge those savings. But it was a very risky maneuver. If we didn't get this exactly right, then you can lose all of your FIT entitlement. We'll go through that later on. Right, the boys are here, so they're going to crack on with expanding that system. We do need to move it across because where the expansion pack's going to go, they don't fit together. So we need to move one to the left, put the expansion pack to the right. We think it should take about an hour. It's a pretty straightforward job. If you have a Tesla Powerwall battery, then you will have an inverter which can be rated up to like 11 kilowatt. And you'll also have 13.5 kilowatt hours of usable storage. Now, if you wanted more storage, then until recently, you'd have to buy another full-fat Powerwall to sit alongside the first one. Now, this all changed about 12 months ago because Tesla launched the expansion pack, so you could get the same amount of storage, but for less capital outlay.
Obviously, spoke to the customer to make sure that there's enough room, because you could have them stacked or side by side, and he wanted it side by side, nice and cozy in the first section. So yeah, that's it really.
So how do these FIT schemes work when you add a battery later on? Well, these systems work differently from a modern solar install. You're paid on a fixed term agreement, bound like a legal contract between you, the government, and an energy supplier. Now, altering your system, for example, adding a battery, maybe changing the inverter or the panels, can affect the metering, the compliance, and put the whole project at risk when it comes to securing those payments. And that's why these FIT retrospective upgrades have to be designed properly and installed correctly. They also need to be reported to the provider of the FIT scheme to avoid any risk of losing that income. Now, here at Heatable, we specialize in retrospectively upgrading FIT schemes. We know how the schemes work, we know what paperwork needs to be filled out, and we know how to wire it correctly. So if you're in the market for upgrading your existing FIT system, then we can definitely help with that.
Most FIT systems are best part of 10 years old, so a lot of the old meters are coming to the end of their life, so a lot of providers will allow you to change it, but I mean, as long as you speak to them, it's absolutely fine. Even if you've got a FIT system, you can still AC couple batteries, then you haven't actually got to touch the original system.
So from October 2024, the homeowners have been able to charge that Powerwall that we installed overnight with cheap energy from the grid. And this new power source supplies the home throughout the day. And then what that leaves is the bulk of the solar produced on the roof being exported to the grid for additional income. Now, there is just something to clarify here. When you have a FIT scheme, you have deemed production and deemed export, and you are paid for both separately. Now, what you can't do as standard is use FIT export payments and claim SEG, Smart Export Guarantee, like modern solar owners. But what you can do is run the maths, and then what you can make an adjustment to on your contract is the export element of that FIT scheme. So if you can earn more from Smart Export Guarantee, then you can forgo the FIT export element of your contract and move to SEG instead. You can't claim both. So when the guys install equipment for us, they essentially have to do a submission on our technology, which goes back to, there it is there, look. They'll scan the barcodes of the battery, they'll do the pictures of the install, and then Kian, who we ring all the time, logs onto the digital platform, the online cloud, and makes sure that what we said we've done is done correctly, set up, commissioned, so there's no issues, and then we can do the handover pack and get it all sorted. So why are we changing it? Well, the reason is the grid is changing. Those export rates, they are dropping. We recently did a video on this on the Heatable YouTube channel, and on this property and the ones around it, we've got solar producing lots of power. We've got Powerwalls charging at night with that cheap juice. And previously, this home spent about £900 a year on a gas bill. The property here uses about 12,000 kilowatt hours of energy to heat the home. And because those rates are dropping, we've got a few options available to us. We can live with it, we could try and find an alternative provider, or we could start to increase our self-consumption on site. If those export rates drop any further, it'll probably become uneconomical. So what else can we use that power on? We're going to use it to heat the home.
It's not a good sign, by the way.
It's not?
No. I've got a funny feeling, mate.
So as of last Friday, that gas boiler was removed and this thing was put in. This is a 10 kilowatt Octopus air source heat pump that is now heating this home. And that battery storage, well, that is the reason we are expanding it. This air source heat pump will use a chunk of energy, and the client's plan is to double the storage here, keep that charging at 7 pence per kilowatt hour, and chop their overall heating bill by more than half. Is there a problem? Why did you do that then?
It's working.
Oh, it's working. There you go.
Yeah. It's not working yet. The Powerwall ain't kicked in, but yeah, it will do. It's good.
Ah, what was that noise?
Switching over.
Red for Dead?
Oh.
What does that mean?
Don't know what that was, mate.
It didn't sound great.
No.
Right, earlier on, I said it was going to be really easy and take about an hour to expand this Powerwall, and it was going really well. We moved the original Powerwall to the left, relocated the isolator, got the expansion pack mounted on the wall, hooked up the harness, and when we turned it on, it made a bit of a crack sound. Ah, what was that noise?
Switching over.
Red for Dead. And Jeremy said, oh, they do that sometimes, it's fine, it's just the relay, but it did sound really loud. Anyway, this starts flashing red. Long story short, we've been on the phone to Tesla for about an hour and 45 minutes. They've determined that the expansion pack has blown up the Powerwall 3. So what they've agreed to do is replace the Powerwall 3, but not the expansion pack. And we've trying to explain to them on the phone that if we come back with a new Powerwall 3, because this has been working for like 12, 13 months, and reconnect this expansion pack, it's gonna blow up the new Powerwall 3. So we're currently mid-argument, and I think it's going to be one to take back to the office, get Keen and the team on the phone to Tesla, because what we don't want to do for the customer is wait a week for Tesla to send us a new Powerwall, come back, and like I said, the same thing happens all over again. But it's clear this thing has an issue, and we have seen this before on Tesla a few times. So we know that just needs swapping out, but that ultimately now is dead. And it leaves us in a bit of an awkward position with the customer because he's using this to charge at night to run that air source heat pump. And now for a week, he can't do that. Now, we need to take that over to Tesla to see if they'll give him some sort of payment back. So we're gonna head back to the office, get on the phone to Tesla, pull some strings, and hopefully we can turn this around pretty quickly and get a resolution for this customer. Right, we filmed this a while back. We didn't want to just end this video without a conclusion to what actually went on. So we waited, and now 4 months later, we can finally tell you what happened. Now, there are two stories here, one about the customer and one about how we and other installers can get caught up in a market between manufacturer policies and trying to do the right things for your customers. Now, we picked this up with Tesla back at the office, and their position on this was pretty firm. The Powerwall had failed. That needed to be replaced. Now, they would issue a replacement Powerwall. We would organise to physically swap it and return the old faulty one back to them. What they didn't believe is that the expansion pack was the cause of the issue, and this would repeat itself. Now, we explained that we have seen this before on a number of jobs with the early expansion packs, and that the process was essentially totally pointless. Once the faulty expansion pack was connected to that brand new Powerwall 3, it would blow up the new one, and then the whole thing would get even more complex. Now, we tried everything with Tesla, but to no avail, and against the better judgment of the rest of the team, I broke protocol. And what we did was we went to our stores, we purchased another Powerwall 3, because that one was obviously broken. We bought another expansion pack, and this cost us about £10,000 with delivery, the cost of the materials, and the labour to go back and swap them over. So within a week, the customer was back online. He now has a fully functioning expanded battery, and he's back to earning that cash. And at this point, I was feeling pretty confident about my decision to overrule everyone and overrule Tesla's policies, but I did need to get the Powerwalls back to the office to be returned to Tesla. We couldn't say to a customer, hey, do you mind if we leave these two faulty batteries in your garage? Now, that cost us, this is the bit about renewables that's really expensive, about £290 on mate rates to get back to the office. And the theory here was this: we would bring them back, we would then pursue it with Tesla. Tesla would say, okay, you guys were right, you've replaced both the units on the site, we can now see that they're working, we'll pick them up, swap them over, and we would have lost some money because we had the delivery cost of getting them back to site, we had the labour charges that we couldn't recover, but for the customer it was going to be sorted. It's the cost of doing business sometimes in this market. Now, I was wrong here. This has ended up being a disaster, because if we'd have kept to the Tesla policy, we wouldn't still have these products sat in our storage container and no way of getting them back to Tesla or getting our money back. Now, what we should have done, here is the policy. We should have had the replacement Powerwall 3 delivered to site by Tesla and swapped out. Then what we would have done is reconnected that expansion pack and blew the Powerwall 3 up. And don't forget, this one is still broken at that point too. Then what would have happened is Tesla would have said, oh yes, we can see that the expansion pack has blown up the Powerwall 3. Now, just for clarity, to get to this point, it's called an RMA from Tesla. All the manufacturers are basically the same. It takes about 60 days to get replacements in, get authorized. You have to evidence everything to claim back your labor. So it would have been 60 days just to get to this point before we realized that, yes, that expansion pack has blown up the brand new Powerwall 3. And then what Tesla would have done is said, we will replace both products. So we would have had another visit back to site, another 60 days later, and we would have replaced the expansion pack, and we would have replaced the Powerwall 3. We would not be out of pocket because Tesla would pay us go back to swap them over, and it's not great money, but it's still something to cover the cost. But what it would have meant for the customer is they would have had 120 days, minimum really, of no working battery. They would have paid us for a product that doesn't function. We wouldn't have been able to charge for the expansion pack. And it's not great customer service, but it is the reality of the market. And it's just something to point out on renewable installs. If you look at like a £12,000 job, probably £6,000, £7,000 of that are going to be materials, especially when you're in the premium end of the market. And if you're a regular installer, even for someone like Heatable who's doing huge volumes, when this stuff comes up, it's really difficult to navigate. Now, we have an obligation to the customer, but the customer also has a warranty with the product. I mean, by this point, that had been in for over a year, that Powerwall 3, it's now gone into fault. The manufacturer is responsible for the product and should pick it up, but the time it takes to get things sorted is never to customers' expectations, and it's an ongoing issue in market. We are working really hard with manufacturers to speed up the process and obviously avoid situations like where we are now. Now, if you would like an expansion pack and a broken Powerwall 3, then we can probably sell it to you really cheap, because Tesla are de facto, no, we are not going to be able to return these. We don't know what's wrong with them, and they're just sat in our storage yard. So drop a comment below and we might be able to sort you out. No good deed goes unpunished. Anyway, it's a happy ending for the customer, because since the install, he's been earning extra cash on top of those original savings. Now, he also has that air source heat pump, which does use a lot of energy. I mean, it's like a 10 kilowatt air source heat pump, so it's probably drawing like 2.5 kilowatts when it's running. But what it has meant for him is he has not increased his consumption from the grid beyond charging those batteries at cheap. But what might change for him is export payments, because we are seeing movement in markets here. Now, luckily for this customer, he's got Tesla products, which are really dynamic when it comes to managing energy in the home, and they also connect to the Octopus Kraken system. Now, we recently posted a video, it's on screen here, and it tells you everything about how export payments are changing in the UK. And customer, if you're watching this, then I would definitely recommend checking out that video, because your income will change moving forward, but it will improve with that video strategy. So check that out, and if you've got any comments or you fancy 2 broken Powerwalls, drop a comment below. It's hot.